All right, so I'm sorry I tried to do this last weekend. Let me actually just pull it back. All right, so yeah, I'm sorry I tried to do this shit last week and you guys couldn't hear, and so I'm just redoing it again because I had some awesome points. But let's go ahead and do this one. Let's do it. All right, we have Prager U, everybody's favorite fun fake university. And with Prager U, you actually get the best that Christian apologists and capitalists, you know, scumbag is not a good word that I would actually use for them, but we're gonna say scumbags. Scumbags would actually enjoy because, yay, we get to demonize poor people. So woohoo. Also, fun fact: PragerU has no official classrooms. Isn't that wonderful? But let's continue.
Woke white people, I'd like to ask you a favor. Please stop asking for forgiveness for your white privilege. You're not fooling anybody. You're not helping black people or any other minority. And your public confessions don't make you look virtuous. They make you look disingenuous, which is a really nice way of saying fake, phony, and fraudulent. For starters, what is white privilege anyway?
I got this. I know this one. White privilege is the fact that you're not automatically questioned because of the color of your skin. White privilege means that you don't automatically start with a disadvantage because a systematic built-in amount of of course they are because reasons. That's what white privilege is. White privilege isn't just isn't you know isn't is mm, not starting off like 120 feet behind in a you know 100 feet race. That's what white privilege is. But let's continue.
Because you're born with white skin, you have all these advantages that I don't have? Like what? Like you can get a mortgage loan that I can't get? I got.
Okay, cool, sure. Um, yeah, there are African Americans that can actually get a loan that's actually better than some non African Americans. Then I guess I'm losing it today. There are African Americans that can actually get loans that are at a better rate than non African Americans.
Got a loan at a great rate, by the way, and I got the house. Why would a banker not give a loan to someone who met the loan requirements?
Because again, facing that whole systematic racism that built in that actually have histories. Banks have histories of redlining, and also they want. I just saw the fucking card that I'm looking for. But they also have a history of redlining and making sure that they follow an old guideline of I don't know, thinking that a certain group of people aren't worthy of having a specific home in a specific location and keeping that stereotype up, even if it means losing profit because they think that it's still a lost issue, something like that. I don't know, like, dude, there are people that do irrational things. Welcome to the fucking human race. But let's continue.
He doesn't want to make money? I've never heard of such a banker. Or how about this?
How about where there were people, I don't know, in the South that didn't want to take colored people's money because they didn't feel like they liked them. Ooh, how about this? How about you bake a cake for a union that you didn't actually think of because, you are bigoted and you are phobic in some kind of way, and yeah, you didn't want to they didn't want to make money? Almost as if people's allow their prejudice to stop them from making money. Wow.
You can enter a store and not be looked upon with suspicion, but I, a black person, cannot, except that has never happened to me.
And then you're lucky, dog. This happened to me quite a numerous times. And that was even before I grew my dreads or braids or was an adult. Just because, and I wasn't even a fucking thug motherfucker. No, literally. That's what prejudices are, you idiot. But let's continue.
But if I was a young dude with my pants hanging down to my butt, I could understand why the store owner would be concerned. I used to be a cop. Believe me, I understand. If I owned a store, I'd be tracking that kid too, whether he was.
But that's the thing. That's what a prejudice is. God damn. Let's continue.
Was black, white, or anything else. Or what if I had a store that had a history of being shoplifted by young black women? And
Wait, what? Sorry, guys. Let's continue.
a young black woman with a bad attitude walked in. Would I be suspicious? Yeah, I would. Who wouldn't? I call that common sense, not bigotry. But there's another way of looking at this.
It's usually, it's actually, bigotry is actually sheltered in the whole thing of I'm just being common sense. It just makes sense that, African Americans do a certain drug. It just makes sense that African Americans are this way. It just makes sense that because the skull is shaped something like this, that, it just means that they can't help themselves. They're just naturally this way. Oh, yeah. It just makes sense because let's do this one. It just makes sense because this one cop beat up this one kid that all cops are bastards. I don't know. It just makes sense. See how those generalizations work? But, let's continue.
In many ways, in today's America, blacks have more privilege than whites. It's been my experience that whites bent over backwards to give blacks every possible advantage. If two people are equally qualified for a job, the black person will usually get it. Big
No, and that's only because of affirmative action that there have been some requirements for egalitarianism. But let's hear this stupid shit. Let's go.
companies and prestigious universities fall all over one another trying to sign up talented black people. If you deny this, you are denying reality, which is what the person who dreamed up this whole thing did. A professor of women's studies at Wellesley College by the name of Peggy McIntosh. She wrote in an article in 1988 about all the white privilege she thought she had. She listed 46, including this one. I can choose bandages and flesh color and have them more or less match my skin.
Okay, that's got to be the stupidest thing to fucking say and try to actually say, well, no. I have privilege because I have flesh tone skin. What the fuck, man? What are some other things that she's not automatically profiled as seen as she's angry because of how she looks or because she's a woman? Like seriously, you pick one of the dumbest things to actually point out. It's almost as if you wanted to go to the absurd in order to make yourself feel fucking good. Let's continue.
Wow, that's some kind of privilege. Soon others took up the cause. Today, these so called progressives dominate our colleges and universities, imposing this absurd notion of white privilege on their students. That's
So the reason why progressives dominate universities is because you have to meet people that you normally wouldn't be around. Whole thing about colleges are progressive bastions. Even in the most conservative leaning, you get to know people that from a different area. The only college that aren't really that conservative is, I guess, like colleges where they have a very selective, or a certain amount of people come from the same area to go to that one college. But even then, those cracks in this whole other people are different from me start to actually happen in college, especially if you're meeting people that are basically different from yourself and you're actually trying to learn from them.
too bad because it does nothing good for white students and it does nothing good for black students. But of the two, ironically, the white students get the better of the deal. Let me explain. To acknowledge your white privilege is supposed to make you feel bad. Only it doesn't. It makes you feel good because by acknowledging your white privilege, you're declaring yourself to be enlightened. And as a virtue bonus, it also makes you a better person than those whites who don't acknowledge their privilege.
So what you're saying is when you, as a person, recognize that there is shit that you get that other people don't get, it makes you feel better. And the people who think, well, no, those people deserve the shit that they get and fuck them, you're automatically a better person? What? It's almost as if you're saying that being, understanding to others' plight actually means that, you just are inherently more empathetic, and having more empathy means that you are just a better person. Wow. Wow. Hmm. Let's continue. Let me just fucking quit this race.
White privilege, which is supposed to make you feel bad, ends up making you feel good. Meanwhile, the real damage is to blacks. What makes whites feel good makes blacks angry. More than 50 years.
Whoa. 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 What the fuck, man? I don't think I caught this the last time. Are you really saying because a white person feels good that automatically means that black people are gonna fucking hate it? That's some serious. That's some racist shit, dog. That's some real racist shit. That's like saying because you happy, fuck you. But let's continue.
After the civil rights movement, the message is you're still oppressed. How can this not create a victim mentality? And anyone of any color who sees himself as a victim gets angry. Now, I wouldn't deny for a second that there are privileges in life. They're all over the place. There's two-parent family privilege. That's huge.
So that's a supremacist talking point. Like for real, it is. It's one of those things where it's just saying like because black folks come from, you know, broken homes, then they're automatically disadvantaged. Where that's bullshit. That is bullshit. But let's continue.
There's being lucky to be born in America privilege.
Which a lot of people actually feel that, I hate to say it like this, the default of American is not a person of color, which kind of sucks because it's, you know, basically not. it's not taking into account the rich history that we have here in America. But let's continue.
There's good gene privilege, but white privilege?
Again, good gene privilege. Like for real, dog. That's oh, the racism is strong with this cat. Good gene privilege. That's I don't even know like how to even say that shit. Good gene privilege? What the fuck is good gene privilege? It's almost as if you're saying people are inherently better because of reasons. But let's continue.
Doesn't it depend on the person? Let's take this for example. A black lawyer and his wife have a baby, and a meth addict, single white woman has a baby. Which kid has privilege? The white one? Because
Okay, so you can definitely have privilege, especially if you have a issue where I oh look, you look a certain way, and because you look a certain way, we're not gonna question you the same as we would question someone else who looks a different hue. It's almost as if that's the privilege. And I don't get people like this dude. Like they actually believe that there is no such thing as black people being oppressed, and it's like we actually have it that black folks are oppressed, or that they are hurt by by just certain mentalities, certain misconceptions. He said a black lawyer. We actually have a two-tiered justice system. And you know what? It's not just that it hurts black, it's hurt poor people too. Let's continue.
he's white? Come on now. And here's the kicker. Even if it were true, all those claims about white privilege, so what? What
So you're acknowledging that it's an issue, but so what? That it happens, but so what? If that's got to be the most dishonest changing of the fucking goalposts that you can actually get, that you can actually understand, so what? People are being fucking hurt by this shit. That's what so what? But let's continue.
would it change a single thing I did? If white people apologize for being white, is that supposed to help me? In what way? So let's be real. White privilege is an attempt by the left to divide Americans by race. It's all theory and all nonsense. If you want to fall for it, go ahead. It's a free country. But don't try to sell it to me. I'm an American who deal with my fellow Americans one on one.
But that's the thing. Yes, if it was just one person, we can probably address this a little bit more differently. But it's not just one person, it's a systemic issue. And that's what the privilege is. But let's continue.
Try it. It works. I'm Brandon Tatum for Prager University. Thank you for
All right, so yeah, that was actually pretty quick one. I'm glad I actually got that one over with. Just gonna address this, um, address that pretty quick. Um, let's see. I'm gonna actually take a break for a second, guys.